Hey, welcome to the Elle Russ Show, where we explore ways to get healthy, wealthy, and wise. With a combination of guest interviews and solo episodes, I hope you will be inspired and motivated to become the best of whatever you are. I'm Elle Russ, #1 best-selling author and subject expert with over a decade of helping thousands of people across the globe. Visit my website, elleruss.com, to learn more about free guides, masterclasses, online courses, and more. Enjoy the show. Welcome back. Okay, today I am going to go on a confidence tirade of sorts, a rampage, if you will. So I'm going to make the case that confidence is your ultimate superpower, why you need to hit the ground running on cultivating it, because only you can give it to yourself. Although, of course, I can help guide you and all of that. I want to make the case. So obviously, I've already made the case in several capacities. I wrote a book about it. I've been interviewed about it many times. And I have a masterclass and a course about confidence. But I want to get into the ways that confidence is the ultimate superpower, why you need to go for it. At the base of it, it's just the difference between playing small and sort of hiding in the background of your life versus stepping into the foreground. Okay, confidence, without a doubt, and I'm going to go through some studies in a bit in this podcast, but confidence is the secret to happiness, to success, to healthy relationships. And the wonderful news about all of this is that it's not something you are born with. This is not it's just not me. I don't have it. You may feel that way. But that's not fact, because if you don't have it, it's something you can create. And like I said initially, it's only something that can be given to you by you. It's created and self-generated. So let me define confidence here, and this is sort of the opener sentency of my book when I define confidence in my second book, Confident as Fuck. And there's lots of ways to define it. Obviously, I wrote a whole book on the aspects and angles of this and the course, but here's what it is. Confidence is just the sum of the thoughts you think and the actions you take. Let me repeat that. Confidence is just the sum of the thoughts you think and the actions you take. You can change the thoughts you think, you can change the actions you take. However, one of the harder parts for you to believe maybe is that you can actually really change your thoughts, but you can. And once you change your thoughts through mindset rewiring and all of that, actions can follow. Occasionally it's the other way around. So I want to start off with happiness and confidence connection. There have been studies that show people with higher self-confidence report greater levels of happiness. And in general, just greater levels of life satisfaction. Why would that be? Well, one aspect is because confidence allows you to embrace challenges, hardships that come up in life, and they will. I talk about in my book that, failure is feedback in an ancestral way. That's how they looked at it. And confidence also allows you to take risks. Confidence allows you to pursue passions and goals and dreams, and all of that right there equals a fulfilling life. Because when you believe in yourself and you have high self-esteem and competence, when you're fearless, then you're not being held back by any self-doubt. And listen, you can get doubt from other people, right? You can have people saying or thinking about you like, I don't think she's going to succeed. Good luck with that. But you can have external doubt, but people have tons of external doubt and have risen out of it because they had self-esteem, perseverance, and confidence. So if you have self-doubt, you are giving yourself that. And no one else can turn it around for you but you. There's another study that found confident people are more likely to report higher levels of well-being. All right, well, confidence helps you bounce back from setbacks. That's a key component of resilience, which is just a key component of long-term happiness, because confidence isn't just about feeling good. It is, but it's about going out there and creating a life that feels good to live. And here's the thing. I know it sounds like I'm saying the same thing here, but let me break it down. So you can be confident in yourself and feel good about, I'm a good person, I'm a good daughter, I'm a good friend. That can be enough. That's fine. but it is also about creating a life that feels good to live. You can feel good within yourself, but then the confidence to go out and actually create one that feels great is probably the creme de la creme. And I want to look at competence and success there because they're tied, because studies have found that confidence is a stronger predictor of success than competence. And I've talked about this before. In other words, believing in yourself matters more than your skills. Yeah. Oh, it's true. And that might suck if you're like, damn it, I've got all these fucking degrees, you know, whatever. But here's the thing, it's true. And I gave this example when I was a account manager and recruiter back in the day, and I used to hire people for Fortune 500 companies throughout the state of California. As someone that employed people, and this is backed by studies, I can tell you right now, I'd rather hire someone that's ultra confident versus someone that wasn't. Now, especially if they have the same level of skills, the confident individual is going to win the interview. And you might be like, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. How can confidence override skill? I mean, right? So, for example, um, I'll give a brief one on this. All right. It's that we admire and we're attracted to and love confident energy that's exuded by people because confident people trust in themselves and they trust in their ability to learn a thing and their ability to be competent. They're proactive, they're authentic, and those are the people you want on your team. So if you think that degrees and learning or certifications are feeling like you have to pass certain benchmarks or milestones of education or practical skills, you're kind of on the wrong track. I'm not saying skills are necessary, right? If you're going to be administrative assistant, you're going to have to learn probably Microsoft Word or Apple Pages, right? That's obvious. I'm talking about it on a deeper level, you know? And here's one on the career note, and this is from Harvard Business Review research. It showed that employees who exhibit confidence are more likely to be promoted. Well, okay, why is that? Because confidence signals leadership potential, even if you're not the most experienced person in the room. Ouch. But see what I'm saying? Because you could be like, why was I looked over for that promotion? I have this degree, I have that. Yeah, but do you have the confidence to be a leader? Confidence equals leadership. People want that. They want to hire leaders. They want to promote leaders. You don't have to be boisterous. You don't have to be another person that you're not, but you're going to have to exude and get the point across in some way that you're confident and that you're a leader if you want to be promoted. There was a study on LinkedIn revealed that 80% of professionals believe confidence is critical to career success. Well, like, what's one aspect of that? I can see one right here, which is confidence helps you negotiate better salaries. Why would you negotiate better salaries if you're confident? Because you know your worth, outward and inward. When you're negotiating, you have to tit for tat, you have to go back and forth, you have to respond to objections, and you have to hold your ground. Here's another one, confidence also in the workplace, right? Why it's so critical. It can help you pitch bold ideas, and if you speak up and you get in there and get your point across, maybe you would be considered for a promotion. If you don't speak up or you don't feel very comfortable in those environments and you don't have confidence, then you might actually be less inclined to even have and muster up any creative ideas for the workplace or for your own company. And those ideas are never going to reach their full potential because you know whether you're not going to execute it or speak up about it, so they're just not going to go anywhere. Another career one too I can see is, confidence helps build a strong professional network, and that's important as well. You don't need to be Mr. Let's go to the bar and drink and I'm the host. You don't need any of that. But you you do need to have some professional networking, and confidence clearly opens the door for that. Let's get into romantic relationships because there have been studies that have found confident people are more likely to report satisfying romantic relationships. And this makes sense to me because confidence allows you to communicate your needs. That way, you're not like, oh, God, they never buy me flowers or they never, and you're sitting there full of resentments. It's because you're able to communicate what you need and want in a relationship. Confidence allows you to be vulnerable and share without shame, without ego stepping in to try to protect you. It allows you to set boundaries, show up authentically, actually listen. And if you're not confident, well, you might tolerate toxic behavior, right? When you're confident, you don't put up with bullshit. You're not going to put up with narcissism. You're not going to put up with crap. You're not going to be spoken to in a certain way, right? When you're confident, you know your worth and you are not going to be available for toxic crap. There is also some research that says high self confidence can be equated with resolving conflicts better. Well, that's not a shocker because confidence can help one stay calm and assertive in a disagreement that could lead to a healthier outcome, obviously, in that situation. Not always. I'm not saying confidence makes you a maverick in patience or diplomacy. It's certainly headed in that direction. But that makes sense to me. And then, like I briefly touched on it, but there is a survey by Match.com. It found that confidence is the number one trait people find attractive in a partner. Yeah, I keep saying that. Confidence is magnetic. It draws people to you. And because it's drawing people to you, it's helping build connections there. And like I said, we admire people who showcase confidence, like I mentioned, because we admire the trust that they have in themselves. We look at them and their self-reliance essence, their confidence in that way. That's a primal thing if you think about it. You're like, I want to be part of their tribe. Put me with them. They look like they're gonna figure shit out. I don't want this one over here who's scared all the time. They're not gonna help me when I come across a woolly mammoth. So confidence is not always just about you. It's about how you show up for people in those relationships that you care about. And if you're conflict avoidant, which a lot of people who are struggling with confidence are, or you have issues with self-esteem, and you're not going to be able to show up for the people you actually care about in a way that's going to get you an honest, heartfelt, real connection where you're seen, supported, all that kind of stuff. So again, just rolling out all of the superpowers of confidence. And I'm going to jump into mental health here because they're very intertwined. Confident people are less likely to experience anxiety and depression. Oh my gosh, that's huge. What's that about? Well, think about it. Because confidence or self esteem, self worth, all of those things together in one, that's what I call confident as fuck. They're interchangeable in a way. Because confidence helps you reframe negative bullshit that comes into your subconscious. It helps you focus on solutions rather than problems. That's very ancestral, failure being feedback, failure not a chance to rip on yourself and take yourself down. It's a chance to do the onward and upward move. A chance for learning, not simmering and wallowing in despair and all that modern luxury bullshit. That's where we need to get back to. And there was a study that found self-confidence is linked to lower levels of stress. Look, this makes sense to me because when you believe in your ability to handle challenges and look at challenges like things that are to be conquered and not feared that will take you down, then you look at those things as things to overcome instead of to dread, and then you're less likely to feel overwhelmed. And being overwhelmed, that feeling is stressful. Talk about cortisol, blood sugar levels. That could be a whole podcast right on that. I'm sure I've done 100 on that topic already in the past 10 years, but all sorts of stuff is going to happen negatively to your body when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed. We know it's not healthy. So confidence boosts that mental well-being. Here's another part of that inner well being. Confidence is what helps you silence the inner critic that will inevitably come up and instead go and embrace self compassion and self love. That's what confidence helps you do. So, building confidence, yes, it is about achieving external stuff, external success, but it is also about creating inner peace in your mind, in your world, inner satisfaction, inner gratitude, and calm. All right, and then I need to jump into this one. This is going to be a downer for us ladies. But there's something called the confidence gap, and it was found that women are less likely to apply for jobs unless they meet 100% of the qualifications, while men apply when, wait for it, they meet only 60%. What? Look at that confidence gap. That means men are like, fuck it, I match like 60% of this shit. I'll figure it out. The rest, whatever, I could do it. That's probably where that's coming from. And so that confidence gap right there is holding women back from pursuing opportunities, right? That's brutal. And then on top of that, another study went in and talked about how 75% of people admit to experiencing imposter syndrome at some point in their careers. And if you're not sure what that is, or you've heard that word, it's basically just a feeling like you don't belong there. Like, oh no, how did I get here? I've called myself an expert. Do I really deserve it? Why am I invited to this big party? Who do I think I am? You could be questioning your expertise or feeling like you're some kind of imposter in a space. But the lack of confidence I and that imposter syndrome, because you could have the skills but lack the confidence, and that's the imposter syndrome. Lack of confidence keeps people stuck in self-doubt even when they are skilled. So the takeaway there is that the competence gap is also a thing. It's not insurmountable. And yeah, I said there's a confidence gap. So actually the confidence gap actually has a competence gap. You have to close that gap. Again, women thinking they have to meet 100% of the qualifications versus 60% of the men that are like, whatever, I meet enough of them, I'll figure it out, I'll get in there and I'll like, it doesn't matter. I'm good enough for this job. I could do it. That's a confidence, competence, dual gap there. Do you know what I mean? I know, it's a downer. Come on, ladies. Come on, ladies. But yeah, if is there a part of you that believes you might be able to learn a thing if you don't meet 100% of those job qualifications? Then you really do need to go for it. That's kind of the outlook you need to have there. That's the message. All right, so let's talk about how to build confidence. Obviously, I've got an amazing 14-hour confidence course and an audiobook and all of that stuff. This is just a podcast here, but I want to talk about a few components. Let's talk about fake it till you make it. I know people hear that. It's very confusing. And you've got some people that are like, this is inauthentic. You don't want to fake anything. And I get it. But here's the thing. When you're building confidence and you don't have the confidence I have, you do have to fake it in some sense when you get started, because speaking up for the first time or drawing a boundary or asking for the promotion, the first couple of times you get used to some confident actions. Until you build it, it's going to be a little uncomfortable, right? It's kind of gross. You're going to have to do a thing, even though you don't want to, and it doesn't feel good and doesn't feel comfortable. But people think you have to become confident and get into a certain feeling, and then you would be able to do the things that confident people do. And that's not true. You just have to get to the point where you do some of the things you kind of fear or that are uncomfortable for you, and you take an action on. That's confident. And again, these are always tiny steps depending on where you're at. You could be at a place where you're all ready to quit your job and start your own fucking business. And you could also be at a place where you just accept the shitty cooked steak at the restaurant and never send it back. And maybe that's just, you got to start small. You might be ready to ask for the promotion. So it just depends on where you're at. There's lots of aspects to this. But during these moments, okay, the fake it till you make it moments, your heart might be racing. It's going to feel stressful and awkward and weird to draw a boundary for the first time, to speak up to someone, to tell someone to not speak to you in a certain way, who's a bully, or ask for a raise. And that's sort of where the fake part comes in. But here's the thing. Are you really faking it if you're doing the thing? No, you're doing the thing. But to some degree, here's how you might be faking it, because you're not doing it with true, comfortable confidence, but that's okay. You might be shaking a little bit. You might have a bit of a raised pulse. You might be pretending to be confident in that moment, right? That's the fake it part, but you're still doing it. And so the first couple of times are always the hardest, and then it gets easier, because when you overcome this and you finally start speaking up and doing these things and confident moves and getting rid of all these patterns, and you're overcoming behaviors, like the confidence booster jolt to your psyche is just so amazing. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's like compounded interest. It just keeps building on itself. You could live off of it. Here's another way to build confidence other than fake it and to make it or whatever, like finally speaking up, finally, sending the steak back to the kitchen, with all these moves, right? But the other thing in all of this is that you have to celebrate the wins. You have to congratulate yourself. If you've been in a spiral, a downward spiral of some self-doubt and self-criticism and all that kind of stuff, that's the antithesis of confidence, then you need to congratulate yourself on small wins when they happen. No matter how small it is, Here's why. Because I talk about this in Confident as Fuck in this sense. My book is a little bit of an odyssey through scraping what I call, well, that exists, scraping barnacles off of your life. Now, the analogy is that when you're a boat owner, removing barnacles is like the worst part of the job. You've got to dry dock the boat and they've got to get scraped off. It's tedious. It's a pain in the ass. But here's the thing. You have to remove the barnacles from a boat because the barnacles create drag. They slow the boat down. They could corrode the hull over time. It could lead to costly repairs. And the scraping of them is tedious. It's not pleasant, but it's necessary to maintain the boat's performance and also the boat's longevity. And if you ignore those barnacles, they multiply and then they become harder to remove. So you see where I'm going with this. Similarly, in life, we accumulate these frickin' proverbial barnacles. You might even feel like some people in your life are fucking barnacles. I forgot who it was that I was talking to once, but we called someone a barnacle or something. um, but we accumulate emotional baggage, unresolved, childhood trauma, some toxic relationships, and the barnacles weigh us down, right? They're creating mental and emotional drag. They're hindering growth. They're hindering happiness. They're hindering the ability to move forward. So we can't ignore these issues and allow them to fester. It's just going to make them harder to address over time, but you don't need to be young to increase confidence. I've worked with people from 56 to 72 on this topic. It's never too late. And so the scraping off of the barnacles is done through self-reflection, through coaching, making tough decisions. But it's necessary. We've got to free ourselves from all of this junk. Because, like, just with that boat, right? The clean hull is going to glide smoothly. That's a life free of psychological burdens. You know what I'm saying? And so we've got to scrape off the barnacles. You got to scrape. So what's that? You got to stop spending time with people who are toxic, and you need to spend time with people who uplift you, who believe in you, who inspire you, make you feel good about yourself. And if you need a new tribe of friends, then that's what you have to do. If you need to hire a coach, that's what you need to do. But the ultimate definition of self-compassion, which goes along with self-love, is confidence. And the ultimate definition of that, really, if we look at here's the ultimate tip, is how would you talk to a friend going through whatever you're going through? I'm sure you have heard about this flip the script kind of situation, but do you treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion and encouragement you'd offer to a friend? Are, are, Are you dispelling confidence advice to other people, but then you don't take it yourself? That happens a lot, where someone sees a friend in distress with a relationship or something, let's say a bully, a boss or something, and they're like, don't let them talk to you like that. You need to, but are you also adopting that same type of thing? It's barnacle scrapers. But confidence grows when you acknowledge your successes, your little moves with confidence, and it doesn't matter how small. And I want to talk about the ripple effect of confidence because a study at the University of California found that confident people are more likely to inspire and motivate others. So if you're dreaming about being a coach, an author, a speaker, a teacher, anything like that, it doesn't matter. It could just be a person in this world you want to inspire others. When you're confident, you give other people permission to be confident. It kind of creates a ripple effect and you uplift your family, your friends, your community. It is such a joy. Maybe you're doing it on a smaller scale already, but you want to take it to a larger scale. Well, you're going to need confidence for that. And also, when you have confidence, you're actually more likely to succeed at inspiring and motivating others. So confidence is not just a trait that I have or that you have. This is like a gift you can give to others and on a broader scale to the world if you want. If I didn't have the confidence and the wherewithal to go out there and write a book talking crap about uninformed thyroid doctors, right? And getting myself on every show to spread the word about it, I wouldn't have helped thousands of people around the world. Maybe you're one of them. And that's a gift that keeps on giving for me every single day, every time I talk to a client, every time someone buys my thyroid course, that all of my suffering was not for nothing. In fact, it was to inspire and motivate others. So the ripple effect of confidence is real. Do you have something out there? Do you have a life experience that could also motivate and inspire others, but you are, again, hiding in the background and have not come to the foreground of your life yet. Confidence is not something you're born with. Well, I actually argue you are born with it and lose it along the way. I think everyone's born with it, but that's a whole nother tirade that I go on in my book. But it's something you build and give to yourself. It's self-generated. So think about doing something this week that makes you feel a little uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be huge. Even if it's a step towards a goal and you're not ready to take any major step outside of yourself, but could it be a step to learn a thing about the thing you want to pursue? You can do baby steps on this. Maybe you need to not pick up the phone from a toxic person that's going to call you. Maybe it's drawing a boundary somewhere else. Maybe it's just not saying yes all the time. You know what I mean? Which is a people pleasery thing, and that's the antithesis of confidence as well. So I hope in this short episode I have made the case for you to go after confidence, for success, for happiness, for healthier relationships, and for less anxiety and depression, for a greater sense of well-being. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this show, I would so appreciate you leaving a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And to learn more about partner discounts on amazing products, visit ellruss.com/discounts.